響け長き白昼の始まりにゴーゴーミッションスタート。子猫ちゃんそっちは任せてね。オッケーレッツゴー。完璧な連携だったね。それじゃあ次行こっか。
Hey everybody, welcome to another Aether Codes guide video. Today we check in the newest and for now the last 4-star character release that could easily pass as a 5-star, Elros BASTET. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Elros BASTET is a shadow melee modifier hailing from Nile, and she uses traces as her combat resource, as you can see up on the right. Her skills. Her normal attack consists of a 5-hit combo, and when the last strike of the normal attack combo hits, she enters Divine Gaze state for 9 seconds. You can tell you are in Divine Gaze state by the purple aura around your screen. Her skill 1, Crescent Rush, bounces forward and deals shadow damage. When in Divine Gaze state, you can reduce the shadow resistance of locked on enemies hit by 9% for 7 seconds. Also, after you cast the skill, your Divine Gaze state will expire. Also, she gains trace upon each skill hit. Her skill 2, Night Hunter. BASTET leaps into the air and goes out of sight for a short time, meaning that she has a couple iframes when she uses her skill. Then hits the enemy upon reappearance, dealing shadow damage. If she is in Divine Gaze state, then she inflicts stun for 2 seconds to the first enemy hit. Divine Gaze state expires after skill cast, and she gains 1 trace upon each skill hit. Her skill 3, BASTET's Caprice. When you press the skill, BASTET will expend 1 trace and she will enter Divine Gaze state for 9 seconds. When in Divine Gaze state, her skill 3 will change to Goddess Execution. When skill 3 is pressed, while in Divine Gaze state, then you will unleash Goddess Execution, dealing AoE shadow damage. Divine Gaze state expires after skill cast, and BASTET Caprice does not interrupt the strike count of your normal attack, meaning that you can use it in between your normal attacks and continue with your combo. Her dodge skill, a Feline Shuffle, can be triggered 2 times consecutively, and dodge will not interrupt the strike count of normal attack, just like her skill 3. Extremity dodge triggers the dodge effect, and the dodge effect, once you trigger it, you can tap the normal attack button within 3 seconds of triggering the extremity dodge to teleport behind the locked on enemy for another skill attack, dealing shadow damage. Also, you will go into Divine Gaze state upon hitting the enemy. Her ultimate skill, Eye of Ra, outside of dealing shadow damage of course, it can increase the non-dot ultimate skill damage dealt to normal enemies, and also increases the non-dot ultimate skill damage dealt to elite enemies and bosses in a percentage of mod index. Enemies in modified mode are taken to have 100% mod index. So, you know, when you're in modified mode, it's 100% instantly. You can, like, you know, do the maximum damage pretty much. Lastly, ultimate skill chain, Hunt Illusory. You can perform it alongside Kotachi and deals physical and shadow damage. Also, it decreases the physical fire, thunder, wind and shadow resistance of enemies by 30% for 12 seconds. Plus, all the buffs from BASTET's ultimate are applied in the ultimate skill chain as well. So everything we said about the ultimate skill of BASTET, Eye of Ra, it applies the same in ultimate skill chain with Kotachi. And that will actually be it for BASTET skill. Pretty straightforward. When it comes to her combat, you want to enter Divine Gaze state through her last normal attack, her dodge or her skill 3, and you use your enhanced skill state to deal damage and apply your debuffs. She doesn't really have a setup rotation for her skills. Mostly you want to make sure that you're using your skill 1, which is like, you know, her skill that shreds the shadow resistance as well. And she does like, you know, big damage as well. Next up, we need to talk about BASTET's Functor. So, BASTET's Functor, let's see what it gives first. Pharaoh EB increases the mod's armor pierce by 30% and crit damage by 20%. This is like on tier 1 plus 2 from having Omega BASTET, of course. Increases the no-dot crit rate by 100% when attacking the enemy from behind, and enters Night Shadow state when casting Bastet's Caprice, which is skill 3, and becomes invisible for 9 seconds. So for 9 seconds you are invisible to the enemy, and increases movement speed by 20%, and increases no dot independent damage dealt on one hit by 30%. And you exit Night Shadow state when the skill hits or taking damage. So overall, Bastet's Functor is really good. It's actually really good. You not only you get like crit damage and armor pierce, you get non-dot crit rate of by 100%. Like anytime you hit the enemy from behind, you pretty much like crit, and it gives you movement speed as well, and you get like more damage as well. Yeah, it's overall it's a really good Functor. Definitely recommend to getting it. Having said that though, of course not everyone can go for it, you know, because we're having a lot of new characters coming up and we are on an accelerated schedule as well. So it makes sense that you want to save up as much as possible. You might not want to go out of your way to get like Bastet's A rank Functor. Having said that, if you really like Bastet, you want to play Bastet, you know, I definitely recommend it. I went for it. I love Bastet. I think she's great and I love playing with her as my main carry. So I went for it. Of course, the good thing about, like I said in other videos as well, is that Functors will always be there. You can go for them anytime you want, and you don't have to worry about 50-50s. You guarantee to get the one you want as long as you select it from the banner, right? And on top of that, now it's not available yet, but later down in the later patches, the A rank Functors actually are available in the shop, and you can get them from the shop or from like acquiring the battle pass, for example, if you're, you know, getting battle passes and whatnot. There is some sort of rotation going on, but Bastet's Functor is not available yet in the shop, unfortunately. But Heimdall's wasn't as well, and it became available recently. So maybe by the time we reach, you know, like Bastet's Functor will be in the shop as well. Just throwing it out there for everyone to know. You know, it's not, you know, confirmed or anything like that. Take that as my speculation, you know, like I'm not sure when and if, how, you know, like it's gonna be available. But there is a shop for A rank Functors for other characters. And that's about it for the Functor. Yeah, like I said, really good. You love Bastet, go for it. It's recommended. I definitely recommend it, getting it. But you don't have, you know, if you don't have enough, if you want to save for characters, you know, save up. There's no reason, like the content in the game are not hard enough that you need to get like all Functors, or like, you know, like Functors, you know, go like all out of your way because, oh, I cannot clear. Eventually you'll be able to clear everything as long as you invest your characters, you know, enough. Next up, we got the Sigils. Alright, so for her Sigils, if you're not at Omega, then it's a straight, like there is one combination you can go, which is pretty much you go for 1, 3 and 5 Eludnir if you're not at Omega, and 2, 4 and 6 you play with a Decree of the Waves. Now, if you're at Omega, like me, there are 3 variations you can go for, and one of them is the one that I have like on screen right now, which is with a Nibble set. I use this variation because I team up Bastet with Kotachi, so I want like to spam my ultimate skill chain as fast as possible, and I want it to be like to do more damage. So I went for the Nibble set, which you can use like in, you know, it's like your typical DPS plus ultimate skill chain or ultimate set, right? Now there is another variation where you, instead of Nibble, you use Sword of Roland if you want to do even more damage, but it's restricted to modified mode only, so it's really situational. But if you want to play, you know, like around that, or you want, you know, to play Sword of Roland and do like the ultimate skill chain and do even more damage in modified mode, feel free to use it. I personally prefer Nibble. And finally, the other one is if you don't plan to go for the instant burst route, or, you know, to spam your ultimate skill with Bastet, with Kotachi, then there is the Ambush of the All. You can use Ambush on the All on 5 and 6, which is, you know, like a generic, you know, your general purpose DPS, you know, like setup, I'd say. But you know, that's up to you. You know, use the one you want and the one you feel like it's better for you. But it's important to know that, you know, depending on the variation you have for your sigil, it will change a little bit. Maybe your Aether Codes, you know, some Aether Codes like setup might be a little bit better with another sigil set, or with only having like the Ambush of the Old, for example, right? As for the skill effects, simple, you know, as always, Fierce Assault, Berserk, and Rage are the ones you're looking for, you know, always. After that, it's Shadow Blessing, Tactics Enhance. Big Hitter can be pretty good, but unfortunately I don't have one. Unfortunately, I get a little bit unlucky with the enchants. What you can do, it happens. If you're playing, of course, you know, ultimate skill like me, Shinryu, really good. Sane Enhance is actually pretty good too. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. And Loopback, of course. Loopback is really good. You know, you want to spam that ultimate skill Sane, so you want like the Loopback on both Bastet and Kotatsu, for example, to get that skill Sane out. And after that, you know, you can get some Gladiator as well. You know, you'll spam some normal attacks and whatnot. But that's pretty much the ones you want to focus on for the most part. Now, about the warps. So, the warps you can do for Bastet. For 1 and 2, it's power up melee. You want 2 of power up melee, right? And then, depending if you have like, you know, Omega or below Triple S, you go for either full Judge, Executioner, or you go like at Omega, you go like with a combination of Executioner and Judge, right? For 3 and 4, the ones you want is EM Flux and Telepathize Force Field 2 if you're actually controlling the character. But if you plan on playing Bastet on AI, then you go for Telepathize Force Field 1, because you're gonna be using the Aether Codes that goes up to Tier 3. For 5 and 6, I'm playing an ultimate skill Sane Bastet, so I go for ultimate equation plus kinetic mode to do more damage in modified mode. I use those two. But you can use even Absolute Zero if you're playing S Hera, for example, with her, or you can play even 2 Absolute Zeros, right? Instead of like 1 and 1. So that would be for the warp pretty much, pretty straightforward. Like I said, you know, like power up melee, Executioner, Judge, depending on your Transcendence, then EM Flags with Telepathize Force Field, and the other 2 kinetic mode ultimate equation or absolute zero, you know, a combination of those. You, depending on your team, you can go ahead and plan accordingly. So, and that would be for the warps and Aether Codes. So, Aether Codes. There's actually multiple setups for Bastet's Aether Codes. You can use a couple combinations depending on how you want to use Bastet and what teams you're using for Bastet. If you plan to use the instant burst route with Kotatsu, like me, then you want to use red 2 and yellow 1 code. With this build, you want to apply all your buffs pretty much before unleashing your ultimate skill chain for the maximum damage. It's a pretty straightforward one. I like it personally, and you know, because I like using Kotatsu and Bastet, and so I want to pair them together and have like a team with those. If you aren't gonna use the instant burst though, you can always go for triple red. Okay, Bastet. You can go for triple red if you want. It's pretty good, but you need to be careful. The triple red means that you're playing a no hit dodge playstyle. It can be pretty difficult as to, you know, keep your buffs up, because you need to keep like dodging and you need to not get hit. Every time you get hit, it means that you lose all your DPS, your buffs, so you have like a big DPS loss, right? Now, for if you're planning to use Bastet as an AI to, you know, flex here in different shadow teams, then the ones you want is triple blue. So triple blue is leaving it to support is extremely good in shadow teams, because as you can see, she has a big shadow resistance thread. from her third blue Aether Code. So you can leave it to AI. Her AI is literally godly. Literally godly. She probably has like one of the best AIs in the game as far as I know. So you can leave it to her and, you know, play your other shadow main carry that you want, either Hades, Hell maybe, you know, Anubis, for example, right? So you can leave it at that and she will take care of everything. But if another last one is the right all yellow, here 3 yellow, if you want to have this setup, then you're using it to clearing multiple enemies. It's for AoE mostly, so it will do a little bit bad against single target content. So if you want to use that, feel free to use it when you have multiple enemies. And that's about it for Aether Codes. You can always do a little bit of mix match, like, you know, you can use 2 yellow, 1 red, for example. Personally, you know, I prefer having the 2 red, 1 yellow, since I'm playing this one. But yeah, these are the few combinations you can go for. You know, it's either triple blue for AI, triple yellow for AoE, triple red if you want to play with a no hit dodge playstyle. If you want the burst playstyle, then 2 red, 1 yellow. It's like the nuke pretty much, right? And yeah, that will be it for the Aether Codes. And to finish this guide, we need to look at the team comps. What team comps we can play BASTET with. Alright, so BASTET can fit in any shadow team thanks to her support capabilities. The one I'm using right now over here is BASTET, Kotatsu, and S-Hera, where I use, like, you know, the insta burst, like the nuke team kind of thing. Like I apply all the buffs and use the ultimate skill chain with Kotatsu. Another one can be Anubis along with Kotatsu and BASTET, for example. That's like another good shadow team, right? You can use, of course, Hades with Oneiroi and BASTET. That, you know, like I said earlier, it allows you to get S-Hera outside your Hades team. I mean, she didn't really need her to begin with, but, you know, many people use that team because it's really good. I use it too. But now you can use BASTET alongside Oneiroi and Hades, and you keep, you know, the ultimate skill chain with Hades and Oneiroi. Oneiroi can already shadow shred the enemies, and BASTET can do it too, which means Hades does even more damage. Like, that sounds insane, but yeah. BASTET can fit pretty much in any shadow team, and she will do her work, you know, so you can flex her in any shadow team. It depends on, you know, in which team you want to use her, or if you want to play her as a main carry. If you plan on playing her as a main carry, you can use it that way too. And personally, I like her to be with Kotatsu when I use her. You can even flex the third character, honestly. Even if you don't want, like, you know, play a nuke, you know, you can play Scenery, for example. You don't want to use Scenery, you want to use BASTET, for example. You can play this team. Like, this works as well. It is a, you know, an available solution for you as well. So yeah, there are options with that's like the cool thing about BASTET. She can fit in many teams because, you know, she has ultimate skill chain with Kotatsu, so makes it, you know, available for some more teams outside of shadow teams as well. Or you can simply flex her in any team because, you know, you like BASTET. Is that simple, really? But yeah, that will be it for this guide. I hope this helped you out. I hope you know, you got something out of this. If this video helped you out, you know, don't forget to leave a like, a comment if you want to ask something, or you want to say, you know, like, oh yes, it helped me. You know, I appreciate that because I, you know, feel like I'm actually doing something right. Feel free to subscribe for more Aether Gazer guides, content, and all that kind of stuff. And also, I stream almost every day on Twitch, Aether Gazer, so you can come in and ask live there. You can find the link in the description. Recently, I have started streaming on YouTube as well, as a multi-stream kind of thing, since Twitch allows it now. So, you know, even if you are not on Twitch, you might find me live on YouTube. But yeah, that will be it. Thank you very much for watching, much appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Peace everyone, bye bye.